Tell me about Can't Breathe.
Well, it's okay.
I can't breathe was the last words of a man that was only guilty of selling loose cigarettes on the sidewalk before he died at the hands of a police force.
This is the last word of Michael Brown. Who was Landy Lopez?
Andy Lopez was a 12-year-old boy in Santa Rosa who was shot dead by police. He was holding a BB gun.
Wow.
I wonder how many other people were killed by police.
Yeah, I started my podcast with a 3-minute song of Mahalia Jackson, and I read the names of the unarmed black people who had been killed by police.
Already. I want to scream. This is only my partial list, and out of respect for those who have died, not all were innocent, but none of them were armed and deserved to die.
And I feel if they do something like shoot somebody or kill somebody, that they have the right to serve time because they're human. They get away with it. And right now, the guy out, he's free just because he's a police officer.
Yes, I hear you. Concerned, and yet not able to know firsthand what it's like living black in Marin, I sought information from a friend, John Young.
I grew up in Marin City, and I don't live there any longer, but I don't go there at night or I make sure where I go because I don't want to be subject. The last 2 times I was there, like just to come hang out, I got stopped. No reason, whatever, I got stopped. And it's like, after a while you say, you know what, I don't want to expose myself to that kind of stupid stuff. So I don't even go and visit, a place where I grew up at. Whereas other people, you go anywhere you want to, whatever. It's like, and it's a shame, me as a black man, I have to walk around with that's the first thing that comes to mind. When I see a policeman, it's like, he's going the other way, let me go. That's a shame, And I'm not saying all policemen and everything, but then it's like, again, it's just a shame that when you have these freedoms that you can't feel free. Like, I've been driving for close to 50 years. And I've driven all over the Bay Area, around the United States. The only place I ever get stopped at is in Marin County. I've got to tell you, this was about 6 months ago. And I had just left a meeting on planning a park. So I was just riding around looking to see if I saw some of my friends just to say hi. And I saw this sheriff car just riding. They kept looking, whatever. I'm like, so I stopped over in the parking lot to talk to another friend, and I'm like, wow. And they said, oh, look at the police. Hey, look. I said, I know they're not going to have the nerve to stop me, you know what I mean, when I leave out of here, because I'm not doing nothing. I said, so on my way out, I was leaving out, and I stopped at the stop sign. I could see them maybe 100 yards away down near the shopping center. So I turned to go out, right behind me, right? And then they put the lights on. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I go out Marin City and I pull over near the bait shop right across. When you get out, I pull over the bait shop. So I'm angry at first because it's like, this is ridiculous. So I sit there, and then it's like, then I thought about it. I said, you know what, John, you don't need any more tickets to cause your insurance to go up for whatever. So just relax. Don't argue. Don't whatever. Just whatever they say, just do it. So I'm in a convertible. So the officer, the female officer, walks up on the driver's side. The other deputy is on the other side, but he got his hand on his gun. And I'm like, so she's trying to talk to me and ask me for stuff, but I'm looking at him. Well, and she said, can you stand around? Can you turn around and look at me? And I said, well, I would, but he's over here with his hand on the gun. So I don't want to, you know what I mean? It's like, it's like this. So I said, I don't mind, but if you want to walk around where he is, I'll talk to you, but I don't want to, you know, it's like this guy got a gun on me. For what? So then I asked him, so what happened? What was the problem? They said, oh, the stop sign. I said, oh, no, I stopped at the stop sign. I said, she said, oh, yeah, you stopped at the stop sign, but your bumper was about 2 feet over into the crosswalk. There was nobody around. There's nobody there. They couldn't even, they were about from here to that sign down there, away from me when they saw. There's no way you could have saw my bumper over the crosswalk. But then, there was no danger. There was nothing. So, okay, and I was, so I said, you know what? Okay, yeah, I probably did. You're right. Let me see your ID, registration, insurance. You could go, just make sure you don't do that anymore. But it's just embarrassing and humiliating to be subjected to that stuff. I'm over 60 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why do I have to endure that kind of stuff? Because you just want to, you know, you want to train an officer and practice stuff. Why do I have to be subjected to that? Why? And then if I say anything, you know, or whatever, then I'm going to get a ticket, and then likely you're going to want to arrest me. And if I say anything, then you're going to get me for resisting arrest, which at the end of the day, when you go to court, you can't win because they're always going to prosecute you for resisting arrest, because that's between the officer and so the original transgression, what you thought, don't even matter anymore. Yeah. Because now we got you for this. So anyway, that was my last experience. And I know that driving in Marin County, I shouldn't wear a hat. Because that's a trigger, and you'll get stopped wearing a hat. Black men wear hats. As we get older, we wear hats.
Yeah.
About 4 years ago, I'm on my way over from Vallejo, on my way to the Marin City Blues and Soul Festival, and I had on a straw hat, right? And I wasn't thinking. And I'm riding along, and as soon as I hit right there, 37 and 101, Highway Patrol came, stopped me. He said, you look like you didn't have your seatbelt on. I said, yes, I did. I said, you saw me adjusting it because I was getting my cell phone out of my pocket, you know, because somebody had called and I had took the phone out of my pocket. So I'm just saying, but here's another example. And I knew, oh, that's what it was. I had the hat on. Because it's a different world. Trust me, it's a different world. The punishment is different. Like most of the time, the judicial and people look at a white person made a mistake, and that they don't need to be punished. They just need some corrective things they need to do to fix so they don't make the mistake again. A person of color does the same thing. You need to be punished. And we're going to punish you because we have the capacity and the systems to punish you. That's why you see in the jails that there's more people of color that are incarcerated than not.
So here we are, more unarmed people of color who have died at the hands of police. But the problem is bigger. It's a societal problem that we need to open up and discuss. In Marin, the sheriff should not train young officers only in Marin City. That's harassment. stop all people who wear hats while driving or eliminate it as a criteria. It's when there's a privileged class that problems arise, and as a white woman, I never realized how privileged I am. We need a new cultural paradigm, and it will never happen until we start the conversation. So let's start talking. Let's start talking.